I've applied to over 200 UX and product design job openings and found the 5 effective strategies for getting interviews. I'm going to share what those 5 are and the pros and cons of each so that you can use the right one for you. Then I'm going to tell you which one is best if you're trying to find your first job. Hi, my name is Gian. I'm a product designer living in the Silicon Valley. On this channel, I share everything I wish I knew when I was learning design and trying to find my very first product design job. First method is the fishing net method. And this is where you get a job by having companies and people come to you. There are these really cool websites where you can set up a profile basically showing your preferences for a job, like your experience, your desired salary, your skills and projects. And then the websites will promote your profile to prospective employers or people hiring. If someone likes you, they'll notify you and then you have an interview. So 2 websites I've used that actually work for me are hired.com and angel.co. So I've gotten multiple interviews from both of these websites. There are other less direct ways to sort of accomplish a similar thing. One is just by sharing on LinkedIn that you're open to work and then letting your network know that you're looking for a product design job. If anyone cares about you and wants to help you out, they can let you know. And I think people often forget this, but you can do this in the real world too. If you have friends or family that you can talk to, let them know you're looking for a product design job, and they may know someone who knows someone that's hiring, and that can work in your favor. You'd be surprised who your friends know or who your friends of friends are. And then hopefully they can find some leads for you that can lead to an interview. So the pro of this is it's pretty passive and low effort. You kind of set it up, you set up a profile, you tell your friends, whatever, and then you just see what happens. A couple of the cons: the pickier you are with the company or your desired salary, for example, the less likely you're gonna get an interview, just because you're filtering yourself out from working at certain companies. You also probably won't get a lot of traction from this method if you don't have some experience that really stands out, or if your desired salary is too high. The next method is the shotgun method, where you spray and pray and you apply to every product design job opening that you see and then you hope for the best. Find any job opening that's related to what you want and send in an application. Don't spend too much time thinking. The key is to apply to as many as possible and increase your exposure to potential employers as much as you can. This is what worked for me when I was looking for my first job, just because I didn't really have any standards and I just wanted some experience. So the pros here is you're casting a wide net and expressing your interest in a ton of companies, which increases the chances you'll get a call back. If you apply to 1,000 companies and you have some semblance of design skill, then of course someone's going to come back to you with an interview. Another pro is it's really straightforward. It doesn't require a lot of back and forth communication with different people or connections. You can just do this casually, watch some K-dramas on the side, do something else while you're just filling in these applications. Some cons: this method is really annoying and really time consuming. If you've ever had to apply for a job, you know that it's not as simple as just submitting your application by submitting your resume. You'll usually need to copy and paste or manually fill in a bunch of crap just to submit your application, and it's really annoying and I hate it. It does take some time and some mental energy. Another con is if you're not very selective right off the bat, you may get some interviews, but they might be with companies that you don't even care about or that are straight up terrible. Keep that in mind. But this is still good if your goal is to just get some experience somewhere. The third method is the backdoor method, where you get a job by knowing the right person and connecting with them. Your goal with this is to find some people that can help you get a job as a product designer. So go to your friends, family, acquaintances, get their help by getting introductions to people and companies that are hiring. So you can set your main goals here to be get referrals for your job applications and build relationships with people that can help you in the future. If you build genuine relationships with people, the chances of getting a referral from them in the future goes way up. And if you get a referral, the chances of you getting an interview go way up too. One thing you can do if you use LinkedIn, I'm assuming you use LinkedIn, if you go to look at your first 3 connections, see where they work, and then see if the companies where they work are hiring. Then if you're interested in any of them, you can ask them for a referral. If you aren't connected to anyone, start with the people you went to school with or that you personally know and go from there. You can also just send in connection requests to people you have like 10 or 20 mutual connections with. And that's a start. They can always reject it if they don't want to connect with you. And also, just as a rule in general, it doesn't help to ask for help as long as you're genuine about it and you've done some work for yourself. So you can't just go up to someone and say, hey, give me a job, please. You need to have an idea of what you want. The pro here is that this is probably the most straightforward and easiest way to find your first product design job. And the reason is people like working with people they know. People also like hiring referrals from people that they like. If you can make this work, it's probably the easiest way. The cons is you need to already have some genuine connections with people for them to care enough to refer you or to connect you with someone who can help. They need to be genuine connections, otherwise they're not going to be compelled to help you. If you haven't built a network up yet, it's going to take some time. It takes time to build genuine relationships, so this isn't something you can rush. The next method is what I call the sniper method, where you're very precise and particular about the companies you're applying to, and you focus on a smaller number of openings that you really care about and align with your skill. Your goal here is to send in specific applications for roles you'd be a good match for. If you're new, this means focusing on more junior roles, and if you have a specific unique set of skills, focusing on job openings that are looking for your specific skills. This might mean doing a lot of digging and trying to find these job openings that are relevant to you. For example, if they're asking for research and you have research experience, or domain level expertise like finance and you're applying to fintech companies. You should also get a referral to give yourself the best shot. Also, when you're submitting your resume, you're not just going to send in a generic copy and paste resume that you sent to every other company. You're going to tailor each resume according to the job opening you're applying for so that it looks like you were made for that position. That means looking at the keywords in job descriptions and then trying to adapt your resume so that it matches the keywords as much as possible. And something you should do if you send in this focus application and you haven't heard back is to try and find the hiring manager or the recruiter connected to the role and then trying to follow up with them. You're not going to bug these people, but you might follow up and say, hey, I sent in an application. I'm really interested in this role at company X. Just wanted to know if there's any update that you can share with me. Something like that. You can continue expressing your interest in the role because sometimes things fall through the cracks during the interview process. And this just makes sure that your very focused application is going to get looked at. So a pro here is if you follow this method and you're able to get a referral when you send in your application, your chances of getting an interview or at least getting your resume and application looked at is pretty high. And because you chose a company or a role that's really closely connected to your actual experience, the chances of you getting an interview also go up. Another pro is that this can be faster than mass applying, depending on how many applications you want to focus on at once. A con for this is that it does take effort and is somewhat dependent on other people, especially if you're asking for referrals. You need to connect with people, communicate with them, tailor each application, follow up. This can be a lot of work depending on how many applications you want to take on at once. You'll also need to do research up front because you're going to try and find job openings and companies that are really closely related to the experience you already have. The next one isn't really related to job applications, but I'll just call it the lateral move method, where you go from somewhere within your current company or your job and try to move into a design related role. If you're already working, see if you can work your way into design from where you're at right now. A lot of companies actually need designers, even ones you wouldn't expect. It'll probably take some work, but it's worth it to ask around or just see if the company you're at needs designers so that you can try and fill that role. So a pro is if there is an opening for a designer, your chances are probably way higher of getting an interview just because you already work at the company. You likely have company specific knowledge that's really valuable to have for a designer. You'll also likely interview internally, possibly with people that you know, or just people that implicitly trust you because again, you're already at this company. A con is you already need to be working at a company that needs designers at that specific moment in time. And another con or potential roadblock is that your current team needs to be okay with you leaving to become a designer if this is going to work out. So which of these methods would I recommend if I was trying to find my first job? The answer is all of them, of course, depending on what you can do. You saw that coming, didn't you? When I was trying to find my first job, I personally used the shotgun method because I wasn't good at asking for help and I didn't really want to bother people with my requests. So I just mass applied. I ended up sending in probably like 90 something applications to get 2 interviews, one of which turned into my first job. My current strategy when looking for a job is to use all these different strategies at once. So I use the fishing net method at the start to put it out there that I'm looking for a job. Then I do a lot of research, find companies that seem interesting or align with my values and my criteria for my work. If I'm really interested in the company, I'll try and get a referral either through a friend, a connection on LinkedIn, or a second degree connection on LinkedIn. And if I don't know anyone there, I just apply. So use what makes sense. There's no reason to stick to just one method. If you find you're sending out a ton of applications and you're not getting any interviews, you probably need to work on your skills a bit more. So the next thing you should do is check out this video where I outline the best product design resources that I've personally used and have helped me in my career. I totally wish I found these earlier, but I share those in that video. Make sure to check it out. See you in the next one.